not to get spiritual, but the mindset of you've been given a lot of things and a lot of tools in front of us. And sometimes we're procrastinate or like we're not committed, you're not consistent, and all the mindset of the people share about like motivation, all of this stuff. I get all of this, but I keep it very simple. I'm like, would you be able to stand before God on the day of judgment and tell him, hey, I have used everything that you've given me to become the best version of myself? Would you be able to say that? If the answer is no, get to work. And yeah, so the mindset is tomorrow is not guaranteed, nothing is promised, and make sure that it's a true hell when the person you could have been meets the person that you are.
All right, welcome to another episode of the Reside Platform podcast. I'm your host, Suneet Agrawal, one of the co-founders of Reside Platform. And on this podcast, we love to share tips, ideas, and stories to help your real estate business grow and reach exciting new goals and take you new places. Speaking about being exciting and going cool places, I'm super excited to welcome our guest, Mr. Ibrahim Hussein. Ibrahim leads the number one team in Ontario, Canada, with EXP. His team has hit over 1.4 billion in sales. Damn, dude, that's a lot. In just 5.5 years, breaking records and setting new standards. Dude, what are you doing? How's it going?
It's going fantastic, brother. First of all, thank you for having me. It's an honor.
Yes, dude, I'm so excited. You guys, if you guys don't know Ibrahim, he's a total culture creator and a visionary with Affinity Real Estate. He's really built, and I've seen the journey, right? So you've really built your team by focusing on people. And I know we're going to talk about that, and relationships. So let's get started and learn from your journey. Ibrahim, how did we meet, bro?
Well, we meet about the bad boy, John Chaplak. Yeah, he's the reason for all of that.
Dude, how did you get hooked up with John?
It was 2019, end of 2019, beginning of 2020. I was at my previous brokerage, Keller Williams. We've done phenomenal work. We started the team in 2018. November 1st, 2018, we just turned a 6 years anniversary. So
congratulations.
Hit the ground running quickly. We did 100 million and then 150 million second year. And then I hit the ceiling of very, very grateful for everything I've learned from the brokerage. But then there is an ecosystem inside the brokerage at that time for coaching and training and whatnot. And we were hitting the ceiling, and I'm like, you know what is out there? I would love to expose myself to what's out there. So I did my homework and due diligence on coaches and whatnot. Everybody's a coach nowadays. And then I found that's a good one. So I found a couple good friends, and the theme was he is the trainer, coach, mentor for all the top teams, and he's freaking damn expensive at the same time. So I'm like, you know what? Let's just give it a shot. Reached out to him. He took me on, and it's been 5 years now. Very grateful for everything that we've learned and grow together. So I looked up and I looked at the track record of the people that coach with him, connected to the two together, and here we are.
I mean, if someone's looking for a coach, isn't that, or any kind of service, isn't that what you should do?
100% track record. Show me what you know. Yes, track record.
Absolutely. Look at what else is out there. Look at reviews, look at testimonials, look at all that, right? That's where you should make your buying decisions. I don't know about you, Ibrahim, but we order DoorDash a lot around here. How about you guys?
We order Uber Eats.
Yeah. Let me ask you, do you look at the reviews on Uber Eats when you pick a place?
100,000%.
Yes. That's what I think. I said this on the Follow-Up Boss stage a couple years ago. I look at reviews when I order a friggin' taco, bro. I'm going to look at reviews when I order when I work with a coach, work with a realtor, work with whatever. Am I right?
100%. As you should, responsibly.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's get right into it. And on this podcast, I don't like to tell the whole realtor origin story, right? So we're not going to talk about that.
It's irrelevant for the audience. Yes.
Yeah, it's irrelevant. Like, oh yeah, I started here and now I'm here. How about we're here?
Yes.
And if you're listening to this, we have a terrific, smart host. So we're going to get into what really goes on your business. So number one, I think the most important thing that we've both learned from John is the people.
Yes.
Right? So then there's two parts to people. There's multiple parts to working with people, but for the context of this conversation, like we talk about recruiting and retention.
Yep.
Right. And then we can also talk about staff.
Yep.
So let's start with staff. Can you explain to the listeners and mostly me what your leadership and operations administrative staff looks like?
Yes, we do have 18 staffing members on payroll. We do have everything in-house here in Ontario where we live.
18 people in Ontario working on staff.
18 staff. Well, the nature of the business we have here, we have a staging company.
Oh, that's right.
We have a media company. They're all like in-house full-time people. We don't outsource anything at all. So yes, we do have a marketing department, social media, cinematographies, videographies, editors, and whatnot. And we do have like operations department, which is admins, transaction coordinators. We do have a interior designing department, which is staging and whatnot. And we do have a inside sales department too. So we have total of 18 people on staff for the team.
How many ISAs are you in?
We have 2.
2? Good.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, so let's talk about retention.
Yes.
We always talk about the recruiting and no one talks about the retention.
You wanna hear a secret sauce?
I'll listen to your secret. Yeah.
The retention is recruiting by re-recruiting your existing people.
Yeah.
So you and I know AFR, so keep freaking recruiting. And
I thought the word was fucking.
It's a freaking keep freaking recruiting.
Yes, good.
Yeah, I just came back from pilgrimage, bro. So.
Yeah, you're not cussing yet.
No, all jokes aside, it all started. It was near the second year of my law school. One of my professors, mentors that I look really up to, he's built like a terrific work on building law firms. So he said, listen, Ibrahim, if you want to build the biggest law firm in the city with a lineup of strong lawyers that they wouldn't have the desire or the need to leave and go start their own law firms, make sure these people have been given what is called emotional equity.
Good.
So, okay. I get it. So I need you to think of emotional equity as a banking. You do banking, like deposits of positivities and withdrawals of negativities. As you grow business, you're going to have to make some tough business decisions. Not everybody's going to agree with it. So the degree of which people are going to be receptive for your tough decision is proportionate to the degree of which you've been a lot of deposits in the equity relationship bank account.
Love it.
It's not like a financial equity. It's an emotional equity. Is basically they believe that they belong. They're here because this company is their own company. So I'm like, I got that concept, and then I literally just applied it into real estate, where we understand it's within the people business. People move the money. So it's the more people you have, the bigger the army, the bigger the sales, and the more successful you will be. Long story short, it is what it is. It's a matter of like, how can you have less turnover? And then when you have a big number of people, everybody to a higher degree, you're not going to find the like ideal world, but you're going to have more of like cohesive, everybody's happy, everybody gets along. When somebody comes in, they ask you a question, hey, who has been here the longest? You mention like 10, 15 names, been here from day one. Not like the team turns over every 3 years. We have a whole brand new team than the team that was here 3 years ago. So I look at the retention as the most important thing for us in our business specifically. And I look at what is retention? Retention is the truth of the experience. Retention, truth of the experience. if you have a retention rate of X number of percentage, like, I don't know, like 70%, like industry average, 30% of the industry turns over every year, you're telling me without telling me that you have an average experience for people. So I have a retention rate.
You're getting a C.
But you didn't say that, but that's what you said, because you have an average industry turnover. So when we say retention is the truth of the experience, is if I have an 80%, and here's where a mind-blowing thing, if I have an 80% retention rate, people are experiencing 80% of what they should experience. Now, hold on a second. You said we're not living in an ideal world, so you're not going to be happy for everybody. I understand that. People come for a reason, season, lifetime. I think my job as a leader, our job as a leader here in the company is, we know nobody's here is going to be forever except the person who started the company. But my job is just going to move the needle as much as I can, do my job to make sure that's as long as it's a lifetime. Reason, season, lifetime. I'm just going to do my input day in and day out to re-recruit them by make sure that they belong to the place that they're at, listening to what they have to see, what the company is being run at. So I do have a surveys that I send out every month for the team members. It goes as follows. So we call it like the value survey. Hey, Suneet, everybody gets it. So if you're the decision maker of the company, what is one thing you would like us to add that will add benefits or implement that will add you and your team members in the company? And then Suneet comes with some suggestions for me. Hey, would love to add this, would love to add this. So you sit here, I have 68 human beings giving me feedback. So I hired 68 business consultants for free. Obviously, some feedbacks doesn't make any business sense because the person just thinks that this is what we should be doing. But you would be amazed by some of the feedbacks that people get, the smarter ones. And you're going to be like, holy crap, I would have never thought of this. So you're sitting here, you hired business consultants for free, giving you ideas of how would they like to see the company being ran. So when you do it that way, they are feeling that my voice is heard, the company has been ran the way I want it to be ran. So now as we recruit newer agent comes in, people think almost similarly. They would love to see the company being ran the way they want it to be. So when they come in, they'll be like, oh, that's how I would like it to be. I'm like, well, this is what it is. Just come join. And then people bring other people. So fun stat for you. I've only recruited 3 people.
Wow.
In the form of like a direct ask. Hey, Suneet, I like you. I think we should get in business together. And like a direct ask to get in business together. Only 3. That's it. Everybody else in the company came through somebody else inside the company.
Wow.
I think that's a powerful stat to look at.
Yeah. It might also mean you haven't recruited enough people, but hey.
Well, here's the thing. I agree and I disagree in the sense of like, there is always we can do more, but the activities that I'm doing to re-recruit the existing ones is same as I'm doing it to recruit the newer ones. It's just a lot more fulfilling and a lot more nicer to deal with.
Okay, cool. Have you heard of the Shakely sales method?
I have not.
It's kind of what you're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah. So look it up sometime. We don't need to get into it in here, but it's kind of what you said. SHAKLEE, Shakely sales. Okay. So
I'll look
you're sending out these surveys. You are listening. It's one thing to send out the surveys.
Yeah.
It's the other thing to actually listen to them.
Oh, I do have a full-time person. That's their job.
What's their job?
To literally take all the reviews, make all the analysis for what's happening, knows the love language for everybody in the team. I know the shoe size of everybody in the team.
Get out of here. You don't, you have everybody's shoe size.
I have everybody's shoe size. I have everybody's love language. I know everybody's birthdays. If they're married, I know their wives and spouses' birthdays. I know their partners' birthdays. If they have kids, I know their kids' birthdays. If they have dogs or pets, I know their pets' names.
Dude, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Bro, here's the thing. Like, I take this very seriously. Why is it? Because most likely the audience of hearing the podcast are team leader looking to grow their businesses. I'm assuming. Most likely. That's a money equation at the end of the day. in the sense of like, what is the value of one recruit if the agent stays in the team for an average of 5 years or whatever the lifespan of the agent in the team is? And then I do the math, and my math tells me it's $640,000 company dollar retained.
Yeah.
Bro, if you have $1 million listing or a $5 million listing and a 2.5% commission check, you will freaking treat that seller as like a 7-star service with a 5.
You will. Good analogy, bro. Good analogy.
You will do that. And then I'm like, are you doing, well, mathematically speaking, that agent worth a lot more than that $5 million listing to you as a company. Are you doing to that agent what half of what you would do to treat that seller to make them feel like they're a VIP? The answer is no. So there you go. You have it.
So how do you think that this has helped your team, besides just from a numbers perspective, but sell a lot of houses?
Well, our stats is 68%. 68% of our business comes from sphere of influence and past clients for the agents. 38% of the business comes from team leads provided to the teams.
Okay.
Top 7 people in the team, we don't take a single team lead. The top 7 people that makes like a lot of money.
It's always like that, crazy, right?
Yeah. Don't take a single team lead. So how did that help the company? Like the retention for the people. People, they sell a lot of houses. They stay in the team for a longer time. They contribute. That's how the team sells a lot of money. Like people are walking billboards for the company in the marketplace. And we're very loud about that on our social media. We showcase how people feel inside the company and we put it out there. So it's a recruiting in its own too. When people feel and see what the inside people being treated and looked after, they end up joining us too. So I'm lucky enough that we do have a large size team, and then also the brokerage that we work with. So it's like they can funnel them both ways. So we recruit both aspects, team and the brokerage. So everything is working perfectly fine.
Good. Let's talk about mindset.
Yeah.
So you're an immigrant, right?
I am. I'm an ESL, and nobody's going to know what ESL is except immigrants.
I don't know what it is. Well, I'm not an immigrant, so yeah.
English is second language.
Oh, I know what ESL is.
Yeah.
So you came to this country, got your law degree. Did you get? Excuse me. You came to Canada. Did you get your law degree in Canada, or did you already have it?
I came here to do my master's degree with MPA in law. And when I came in, I did not continue it because mathematically it did not add up. I was going to almost redo everything what I have done. And it was a step backwards, not forward in terms of like financially, like to get to where I want to be is going to be a way longer time. So the business side of the things made a lot more business sense to me. So I switched to the business only. And then ended up in real estate.
So let's talk about mindset. Mindset from being an immigrant, right? Which is hard to leave everything and move across the ocean. Yeah, I don't care who you are, right? Like it comes with challenges. And then also to take a team from 0 to over 1.4 billion in sales in 5 years. Like, what was the mindset you had, and how do you encourage the agents on your team to adopt a similar mindset?
Not to get spiritual, but like the mindset of you've been given a lot of things and a lot of tools in front of us, and sometimes we're procrastinate or like we're not committed, you're not consistent, and all the mindset of the people share about like motivation, all of that stuff. I get all of this, but I keep it very simple. I'm like, would you be able to stand before God on the day of judgment and tell him, hey, I have used everything that you've given me to become the best version of myself? Would you be able to say that? If the answer is no, get your back to work. get to work and yeah. So the mindset is tomorrow is not guaranteed, nothing is promised, and make sure that it's a true hell when the person you could have been meets the person that you are, and just to get after it, get after it. And if you're not first, you're last, and number 2 is the first loser.
Yeah, absolutely. How do you translate that to agents who join your team?
I say that to them every single day, exactly like I just said it to you right now. We practice a lot of gratitude, and I think that's the secret sauce and the cheat code. Every single team meeting, we out loud, we have like a 15 minutes portion of the team meeting to recite the gratitude. What has happened to you this week that made you grateful for? And people say, like, some people get in tears when they see you. So the more you're grateful, the more you're going to have things to be grateful for. So that's the mindset of like, you scored the goal, you sold the house, good job. That is your job. That's what you should be doing anyway. Like if you're playing soccer or hockey and you're a forward, you score the goal, don't freaking celebrate. That your job is to score goals.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like your job is to sell houses. That's your job. So what else can we celebrate besides selling houses? So that's the mindset is just be the best version of yourself that God has put you on this earth to be. Are you that version of yourself that you can possibly be?
Love that. So how many agents are you guys at right now?
Team, 52 agents.
52 team and 18 staff, right?
Right, yes.
So, dude, you got to have some other leadership inside of your organization.
Bro, I do have people that I always doesn't matter where I go in the city, in the province, in Canada, North America, I would never be where I am today without them. So I do have a first tier world-class leader, 5 people that they run the business with me, they run the team with me. They're all licensed people, they sell real estate, except Miranda, the CEO, the integrator. Other than that, these people are the ones that when a person comes in to join the team, or if you want to make a business decisions, I don't think I've ever made a decision without taking their opinion into consideration. And if they said no, it's a no.
Wow.
So it's a true story. Yes. So big decisions, I always have to consult those 5 people. So I have like a board of director, you may say. So a board of director that
that's what I would call it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's literally what it is. I'm like a board of director, and they tell us what to do, and very, very smart people. God has given them IQ level higher than me. I can't compete with that, so I might as well just embrace it and use it for the greater good of everybody around us.
Absolutely. Good.
Yeah.
So how do you grow and encourage these leaders to succeed?
It depends. So some of them, they have goals to succeed in the sales, and you want to be like, sell more houses, be the top producing agent, be the most recognized one, make the most amount of money. Some of them are driven by, did you read the Psychology of Money book?
I have 3 copies of it, and the author has been on this podcast, and the answer is still no.
Okay, so it really comes down to like what level, what motivates them, and what really drives them, and what they see themselves doing, and we tap onto that and help them grow to be what they want to be, not what I want them to be.
Yeah, exactly. Take them where they want to go instead of telling them what they need, where they need to go.
Yeah.
So you have this ops and these staff.
Yes.
What does a well-oiled machine mean in your business?
A well-oiled machine, the business runs without being involved at all. As bad as that sound, it just happened literally 1 hour ago, and I was like, oh my God. So a newer agent comes in, asks me a question about some paperwork, and like, so some rules in the province here changed a year ago, and I didn't know that. So he's asking me a question, so I'm gonna like, yeah, you do this and you do this and you do this, and then he start like, one other agent in the team start laughing. He's like, oh no, just come here. That's how you do it. And then Miranda came, and I'm like, Miranda, what's going on with that? She's like, I was like, oh my God. So we laughed about it, we joked about it, but I think it's a good thing, not a bad thing. Is yes, there's areas in the business I'm completely disconnected from, and I look back and reflect, the business still running, and without me, I don't have to know all of this. Like, I don't have to know all the details, and the business is running. So it's well-oiled machine is. You don't need to know everything. You need to know how to have the people that knows how to do these things.
I love that. How's it feel?
It feels great. It feels liberating. So don't get me wrong, I work freaking like sometimes 16 hours a day, so I'm not sitting my ass watching Netflix. But like it just gives me the ability to focus on more complicated things.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, dude, once you get on this journey, once you get to a place, if you want to get there, where I don't know a single answer about a real estate contract, right? I have someone who knows a real estate contract really well, 2 of them, right?
Yes.
3 of them. I don't know about a lot of these things, but I have those people. And that's like, one of my mentors, Perry Belcher, he really knows like what his strong suit is.
Yeah.
And he made a decision is not even to be the CEO.
Yeah.
Right. So he's hired a CEO and he's much happier.
He's a smart man.
He is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. So let's talk about dominating markets.
Yes.
What's your strategy for staying ahead of the competition?
I use this in a recruiting strategy actually. So when an agent comes into the team, I sit down with them and we ask them all the question, and they like us, we like them, everything is good to go. And then I pause and I'm like, okay, we're gonna have to pause here, and we do require you to visit. And this is gonna go 100% against what Suneet has been teaching and preaching all the years. Okay.
And you always get that disclaimer every time you say it.
I'll just make sure everybody's on the same page. There is no right way or wrong way of doing anything. It's just a different way of doing it. So I actually send them out to interview minimum of 6 other teams before we move forward to the next steps.
Do you give them the list of teams to call?
No. I mean, like there is very well-known couple of teams, and then the rest you have to figure out on your own. Okay. So they go there, and I'm like, just they sit, and then I'm like, oh, by the way, just when you're going to the interview, just ask them a couple questions. One of them is, who has been here the longest? What is the attrition rate, which is the word opposite of the retention? The team leader, some of them doesn't know what attrition is, just that's what attrition is. And then the third one, what is the average commission per agent on the team? And just ask the team leader those questions as you go. And once you finish the whole 6 interviews, we can come back. So it's like, okay. I'm like, just by the way, when you go sit with them, every one of them was going to try to close you in the spot. Just keep that in the back of your mind. Like, oh, okay. So I sit here. People go interview 6 other teams and come back to me. Suneet, I literally sat on my freaking desk here, and I know what every single team in the city has to offer the agent that comes join. Okay? And the agent comes back to me. So like, yeah, that's very, because here's the thing. The shocking fact is like nobody is telling them to do the same thing I'm telling them. That's 1. 2, everybody's trying to close them in the spot. And here you are, you trying to push them away respectively, because I teach them this is the best of it's in your best interest, because A, you might find a team that's actually better than us. Why would I block that opportunity for you? 2 is once you know exactly what, and here is the big one, once you know exactly what other teams has to offer and whatnot, you're going to work in the same city. If you happen to be in a listing appointment and then the seller is interviewing one of those team members, you know how to overcome that conversation, because you're almost going to join that team, but you didn't. Do you know why, Suneet, I'm sending you to interview other team? It's better for your business. Oh, thank you so much, Ibrahim. I'm like, you're most welcome. So this is my definition of how can you stay ahead of the competition when it comes to recruiting and growing the team is make it almost unfair for everybody else to compete with you in your city when it comes to recruiting. It is recruiting in its own, just the opposite way.
Dude, that's really good. And every time I hear that, you get better at explaining it every time. Because the first couple of times I was like, wait a second here.
Yeah,
I might have even said that out loud the first time I heard you say it at the prep.
You're like, I'm gonna close. Everybody comes in here. I'm like, I get it. I understand. It's just like sometimes we have to explain it in a different way for people to kind of like, okay, I get it. I understand. So yeah, so that's what we do, and it's working like every single time, brother. Every single time it works. So I'm like, it's proven to be working. So why would I change it?
If it's working for you, why would you change it? Yeah, keep on going.
100%. Also, it's a market specific though. Like just we're North America is too big, so it might not work in your marketplace, but it just works in our marketplace.
I mean, I think it's important for anyone listening to it and getting inspired by that strategy is, if something's not working, then here's another strategy to try. Test it if you're curious. Right?
You know what other reason intrinsically why I do this, and I even my leadership team knows that, is like, if an agent was sent to interview other teams and end up joining one of those teams, we will know in a month or so when we do our follow-up call or when we see them register on MLS online. Then we have a meeting and we're going to be like, hey, truthfully, let's look in the mirror. Why did this person join that team, not us? What is it that they have that we don't? And it's an opportunity for us to improve. That's another reason why we do this.
Yeah, great. Good. So,
you think about it, you have two doors. One door people come from and one door people leave. The back door that people leave from, we did bolted it. So it's dead bolted, nobody leaves.
Good one. Yeah. Let's talk about something that John has always talked about is like principles.
Yes.
Right. And that's honestly something that I learned a lot about in my business and my life from John, right? Because I never heard that word used so often.
Yeah.
And, been hanging out with John and working with him, multiple businesses now for 7-8 years. And I know what he's going to do because I know his principles always.
100%.
Right. Which is really powerful. So, and we just talked about you coming back from the pilgrimage back to Mecca, and off air we said, we talked about you going twice a year, which I think is great. You sure have a lot of vacation time, dude. We get into that another call, but
yeah.
So you live by an honor system, right? That's faith inspired, which, without us getting religious, it's faith inspired, and that's something that's important to Ibrahim. How do you think that faith inspired honor system has shaped your decisions and leadership style?
January 12, 2022, we made a business decision. John was actually involved in it. We walked away 125 million of sales volume out of the door in one.
I remember. I got a text.
Yeah. So I messaged John 3:00 in the morning. I'm like, are you adult? He's like, yeah. I'm like, we need to meet that morning. He's like, what's going on? So I told him, he's like, oh, what is the damage? I'm like, there's no damage. It's just like 125 million that we have to walk away. He's like, you do the right thing. I'm like, thank you. So basically, long story short, when we had a unfortunate incidents that we had to publicly make a statement online on social media about it, without getting into the details, basically misalignment in the values and the principles and what we stand for. And it did involve 12 agents, 3 of which are top producers, because of the alignment with the principle and what we stand for. And this is where the personality versus you're making a principle business decision, not a personal business decision. When the decision gets imposed, you look at but we can't do that, man. It's a Suneet. I'm like, now the personality is getting impacted or getting having an influence over your principal business decisions. So we don't look at it that. It doesn't matter who the name is. So it was a defining moment of our company's history, and I look back and we recovered from it, and we're twice as big now. So very, very grateful for that. So you do the right thing, and the right thing is going to happen. So even though sometimes you look at this, I'm like, okay, we have a principal issue here, and we're going to make a decision. That's like 125 million of sales volume walks out of the door. Are you okay with that? Or should we tweak the principle to keep the business? Or should we just cut it short to do what's the principle and then move on? We did this and it serves us the long way, and people can see through that. And you earn the respect of the people that's inside the company because they see you making those decisions. And it also fuels the retention in the long way, because people know everybody want to be led by somebody else. Everybody want to be led. Leaders want to be led to by somebody. So when they see the leaders of the company stands for what's right, it inspires confidence in people that they are in the right place.
Dude, what a good answer. Love that. And a good story. And yeah, that's exactly what you did.
Yeah.
Right. As you stood by your principles, dude. And like, that's something like I said, I learned really applicably from Chep, and you've demonstrated well in your career. So good job. Shout out to you.
Thank you, brother.
Oh, okay. Lots of teams are having challenges in this market, and the date of the recording is December 18th, 2024. So a lot of people are having challenges. Hopefully, by the time this gets published, I don't know, we're probably a couple weeks out, Christmas and all that. Hopefully, people aren't having as many challenges. But has the Ontario market slowed down similar to the rest of Canada and the United States?
Big time. I think it's statistically speaking, it's the worst year in real estate here since 35 years ago.
Okay, yeah, that's a number for your ass, right? Yeah,
it's worse than 2008 here. So lowest number of sales, price points 20% down. It's just not good. Asian, for context, the market has never seen the apartment building, the condos in Toronto. It's the highest number of volume ever the MLS have ever seen.
There's so many for sale because everyone needs to refinance every 5 years.
So many for sale. So yeah, it's not a fun time in the market. But guess what? For everybody that's listening us here, if you survive 2024, it doesn't get any worse than that.
Yeah,
it's in the past. 2025 and forward is going to be better. So kudos for you.
So what do you tell your agents who are having a hard time?
I literally, we had a team meeting yesterday. I'm like, if you're here, if you paid your bills, if you ate last night, everything is good, you're good. Because some people didn't. And if you're still having your license, it's good because a lot of agents got out of business. And it doesn't. This is the rock bottom. 2024 is the rock bottom. So other than that, we're good. So, but overall, our business didn't decline. We're the same as last year, so it's good.
Oh, awesome. Good.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. So final question for you.
Yes, brother.
We have a lot of aspiring team leaders and team leaders, period, listening to this podcast, watching the podcast. What advice do you have to give them?
Something that served me very, very well personally. I always learn what not to do before I learn what to do. Mm. If it took Suneet 2 years to get from point A to point B, first of all, Suneet doesn't know what he doesn't know. I don't know what I don't know. And they learn from their own mistakes. So if Suneet goes back and look at what he's done, he would have avoided this and this and this and this, for example. But now he did this because he didn't know that he shouldn't have done that. So I learned first what not to do before I learn what to do, because if I avoided the steps or the mistakes that Suneet has done, it will take me only 1 year to get from point A to point B instead of 2 years that took him. So always learn. Everybody's like, hey, how can you do this? How can I do this? How can I do this? This is good. As you're learning what to do and how to do stuff, just learn what not to do.
Absolutely. I think you just said to work with the Reside platform. So thank you for that shout out.
Because Reside, it teaches you to avoid the mistakes that everybody else does, right? And it fast forwards a couple of years of your life through errors and trials. It gives you the roadmap of like, hey, don't do this. Here's how to do. So I agree with you. I love you guys all at Reside.
We love you too, buddy. Yeah.
Make a positive impact in the industry, and I think we need more positive impact in the industry. So thank you for everything you guys doing.
Yeah, dude, and you too, right? Like you speak and doing coaching and getting all these things. So if somebody wants to send you a referral or talk with you, pick your brain a little bit, or send you a referral, because we like those too. And I want you to have a bunch. Yeah.
We appreciate it, and your clientele will be taking care of it, like care of like 7-star service for sure.
I'm surprised that I haven't sent you anybody in Ontario with all my people out there, dude. Like, what's going on with me?
Guys, like, it's like you're the majority here.
Do you ever get some good Indian food? Do you like Indian food?
Oh, I love Indian food. Butter chicken is I can eat butter chicken every day, and I will never. Butter chicken and shawarma. These two things.
Shawarma.
You know what shawarma is?
Yeah.
It's a Middle East.
Lamb?
It's, I mean, yeah, it has lamb in that, like, can be
Yeah.
chicken, can be meat. So I can eat these two every day and I will never complain. So butter chicken comes first with naan bread, garlic naan, not just naan.
Yeah, a lot of carbs in that.
Yeah, man, can't go wrong with that.
So if somebody wants to get a hold of you before we talk about food, because me and Ibrahim can talk about food for hours, where do they find you? How do they get a hold of you?
If you were to Google Affinity Real Estate in Canada, Ontario, just Google it. The first one comes in Google. The highest Google reviews in Google is us too. Or social media, Ibrahim Hussein. The spelling is IBRAHIM HUSSEIN. Happy to connect. I would love to serve anybody however we can.
Yes, hell yeah.
Clientele, real estate questions, team questions, any questions, we would love to contribute. Somebody has done good to us, so our job is to do good to other people and make the world a better place.
Dude, thank you so much for being on. It's a long time coming, and I think this episode was great.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you, my man. I appreciate you.
Everyone else out there listening, hey, thank you for listening to this episode of the Reside Platform podcast. Once again, I want to give a huge shout out to my boy and great guest. So gonna have you on again, Mr. Ibrahim Hussein, for sharing a cool story and some really cool advice. Not that I agree with everything, but hey, we could talk about that on another episode, maybe part 2. If you did enjoy this episode, please make sure to subscribe, leave a review, share it with your team or anyone you know who wants to grow their real estate business. For more tips and tools and other information, check out resideplatform.com and follow us all on social media. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you next time. Keep working towards your goals and making a big old impact in other people's lives. Okay? We'll see you next time.